Hello everybody, welcome to my Ultra Sun team. I am so excited to do this video. I have just finished Ultra Sun, and honestly I'm really struggling to do this video because I just want to play it more. They're really great games, and I highly suggest you get the games when you can. But before I start this video, I just want to say this does contain some spoilers to it and my own personal bias, so be wary of that while watching this video. And just as a disclaimer, I do not own any of the images or the music. They are owned by their respective owners, and they're just used for enhanced viewing purposes. The music is the Mantine Surf from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and the link is there on the screen to go watch that. One thing I really want to stress before we get into the video is there are spoilers in this video. And I know some of you out there haven't played the game and you don't want a lot of spoilers. Now this is only going to be when you get a Pokemon, because that's what I'm talking about. I will make another video with my personal thoughts about Ultra Sun, and you can go check that out. But I will not be discussing any of the storyline, any of the locations, any of the changes in the game, anything like that. The only part of the storyline I will be discussing is when you get a certain Pokemon in the game, and I will try to limit the spoilers in that as much as possible. So if you don't mind just a little bit of a spoiler, then stick around. But if you want to play the games yourself first, I totally understand that. Just make sure you come back and watch this video once you have played the games. With all that being said, let's get into my Ultra Sun team. So at the beginning of the game, you have to pick a starter Pokemon, and I love the way they introduce the starters in this game. I'm not going to talk about it because I said I wouldn't, but you have Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio, the same as Sun and Moon. And honestly, this was a really easy choice for me. My first ever playthrough of Pokemon Sun, I chose Rowlet, and my best team, I chose Popplio. So I hadn't chosen Litten yet, and I wanted to use Litten. However, my absolute disgust for the design of Incineroar made me hesitant to ever pick Litten. However, I actually did this time, and I did something I've never done before. So I chose Litten, and it evolved, and it leveled up, but I only kept it as a Torracat. So my final team had a Torracat on it, which I thought was pretty cool. And it's actually really neat with having a middle stage evolution starter Pokemon on your final team. I've never done it before, and it was really fun and really interesting to use Torracat. Now, it did have some problems because it's not as strong as Incineroar is. However, if you get some items and such, and you get an Eviolite in the game at some point, you just throw those on there. His special attack, his special defense, special attack doesn't matter really. Defense raises, and if you get some attack and speed boosting medicine, it can still do a pretty good job. Now for my second team member, I actually didn't go that far. I began running around Melee, getting some Pokemon in the wild, catching some of them, training them up. Really, I'm just trying to finish the Pokédex, and that's what I really want to go do right now. But I'm making this video, so. But I did catch some Pokemon. I tried to catch everything I ran into, and I went around getting all the basic Pokemon from the beginning of the game, and I'm like, I don't want to use any of these because I've used them before and I've seen them before. I want something new, so I kept going around, and eventually I made my way to the trainer school. Without having another team member, I realized that I was really going to struggle if I did not pick up something, and that came in huge when I battled the teacher because I had nothing to switch into and no way to beat her. So I ended up picking up a Magnemite to help with that battle, mainly because I knew it was defensive and it could take some hits. However, what I didn't know is this Magnemite was not just going to be used for that trial in the game, if you will. I actually threw Magnemite off the team after I beat that person and continued on through the game, and I don't think it was until about Ula Ula Island that I decided, hey, Magnemite might be pretty cool. I need an electric type, I need a steel type, let's start on the team. And that's what I did. So I had a Magnezone once I finally got it evolved. And what was really hard for me in this game is I only had a Torracat, and I only had a Torracat for the majority of the first half of the game. The first half of the game I played through with Torracat and a few other team members here and there that swapped in and out because I needed them for trials. Torracat was weak against. I needed an electric type for the water trial, and I threw in a couple of electric type Pokemon around the region or grass types and so on and so forth. I just threw around Pokemon on my team trying to make it so I could beat the trials. I didn't really develop a team until I got to Ula Ula Island, and I highly recommend you do not do that in your playthrough. Find some good Pokemon in the first 2 islands, train them up, have them level up with your starter Pokemon, and that'll help you a lot. It also helps to evolve your starter Pokemon, but as I was not doing this, I added another level of difficulty. But anyways, we're going to get into my third Pokemon. And it was a while after I decided to use Magnemite. I was going to the third island. I just got there, got through all the stuff, and I was in the route south of Mali City, is what it is, where you find Gyro Ball in the game. Well, Sun and Moon. And I ended up finding a Pancham on that route, and I've never used a Pancham before. Same with a Magnezone and a Torracat, I've never used them before. I was trying to make a team where I hadn't used the Pokemon before, so I picked up a Pancham, and at this time I had a Alolan Meowth in my party, so it was a Dark type, and I leveled it up, and eventually it evolved into a Pangoro, which was a cool member of the team. Never used it before, and it has a really cool typing that I really enjoyed, especially when I battled Psychic types, because I just threw it in on switches just to annoy the crap out of NPCs, but they don't have feelings and it sucks. Boo. Moving on to my fourth pick. Oh, this was a fun one. So it was after I defeated the Ghost Trial on Ula Ula Island that I went into the desert, because you have to clear that trial to go into the desert, same as Sun and Moon. And I was going for Psychium Z, which is out there, which I thought was out there. And I ended up running into some of these Pokemon in Hyana Desert. Like, you know how the Dugtrio and Diglett did it in the earlier games. But I ended up finding a Trapinch, and I thought to myself, you know, Flygon I know is not that great of a Pokemon, and a lot of people thought Garchomp does it better. However, I think Flygon looks really cool, and I really want to try out a Flygon. So, I caught the Trapinch, I evolved it into a Flygon, and that became my fourth member of my team. Now at this point in the game, I'm looking at my team. I got a Fire type, I got an Electric and Steel type, I got a Dark and Fighting type, and I got a Ground and Dragon type. My team is suffering because I only have physical attack besides Magnezone. And honestly, at that point in the game, Magnezone was using Charge Beam to try to boost its special attack to hit hard. So we were struggling, and I decided I needed to get some more special type attack, but I didn't know where to get them, and I completed the rest of Ulu Ulu Island using this team. It wasn't until I got to Pony and I got to the ruins there that I realized that I needed a water type, because I was going to fight Hapu. I thought I was going to fight Hapu, and knowing that Hapu was a ground type user in Pokemon Sun and Moon, I decided a water type would be really cool, and there's the lake out there. So I decided to go around and try to find a water type. Skimming across the water, they have the thing in the grass where the shadow comes at you and attacks you, that, like the Makuhita in the second route of Sun and Moon. They have that in this game, and the Pokemon was a Wailmer. And I'm like, that's odd. I've never used a Wailmer before. Don't really have any feelings about Wailmer, but I've never used a Wailmer before, and I thought it would be cool to have a Wailord on the team. It's funny watching them throw that thing out. It's huge. So I caught a Wailmer, and funny thing is, it had a nature that it boosted its attack instead of the special attack. Now, honestly, that's a really good nature for a Wailord, because it is built as a physical attacker. However, I put a little bit of a difficulty curve on this game because I made my Wailord special attacker, because I needed some special attackers on the team, and I didn't want to have 4 physical attackers and leave Magnezone as the only special thing. I knew that would really help me because I figured Hapu still had her Mudsdale and Stamina, and I don't want to deal with that defense drop. So I made it a special Whale Lord, and that became the 5th member of my team. At the same point in time as finding, evolving it, I was questioning what my last member of the team was. I don't remember what I was using before I finally caught my Pokemon, but I was looking really hard trying to find some things. I think I just threw some my team. I'm not sure what I used at this point. I think maybe it wasn't a Grand Bull, but I want to say it was a Grand Bull, but I'm not sure that's what it was. I was just using random Pokemon on my team, trying to figure out what I'm going to use as my final slot. And before I go any further in this one, this is where the spoilers come in. So if you do not want to be spoiled on any of the storyline in this game, you can just scroll through it a little bit, see what my final Pokemon is at the end. However, if you want to hear the story, here it is. I figure that gave you enough time to scroll away if you did not want spoilers, but that game, you know, you fight Cosma in Ultra Mega. You go to Megalo Tower, which is the shining tower in the middle of the map, essentially. You fight Necrozma there, and after you defeat Necrozma, which is a very difficult fight, I'll talk more about it in another video, but after you defeat Necrozma, they give you the option of getting a Poiple. Now I jumped at this opportunity. I think it's a really cool Ultra Beast. It looks like Mew except Poison type, and I'm like, this is amazing. I have to have this thing. So I caught Poiple and added it to my team, making it a special attacker as well as a Poison type. So this is my team: Torcat, Goro, Wailord, and however, I got to the league. I was going up Mount Lanakila, and I let my Poiple off because it was falling behind and to have stronger stats. So I let it evolve into an Nagana, which I did not know was a poison. Really cool. However, I already had a Dragon type on the team, so I wasn't that thrilled about it. But I still used it anyway because I wasn't training anything up before the league. So I went into the league with a Torracat, Magnezone, Pangoro, Flygon, Wailord, and my newly evolved Naganadel. And this was my team I beat the league with. I wanted to beat it with Poiple too, but I knew Poiple was just too weak, and having that evolution really helped out. Now, as for my team, I don't usually nickname them unless I'm playing Nuzlocke. However, since I've started doing Nuzlocke on the channel and Let's Play that I've named my Pokemon, I started naming Pokemon in this game too. However, since I did not know what I was on my team, Torcat's the only member that had a nickname. Named my Torcat Shadow after first pet cat that was named Shadow, because he was just so cute, and I really like cats. So I have Shadow the Torcat, Magnezone, Pangoro, Flygon, Wailord, and Naganadel as my team for Ultra Sun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, and also while you're there, subscribe to my channel for more content from me. Also go follow me on Twitter and Instagram. ChaosMay006, it's on the screen there. So make sure you go follow me there. I'm sorry about the spoilers in this video, but I wanted to do this video as soon as possible, because you guys deserve a video. So I thought, let's do a video real quick. And I've been really struggling to make videos while playing the game because the game is really good. Highly recommended. And I'll talk more about how good the game is in another video, so make sure you go check out some other videos on the channel and my Ultra Sun post-game thoughts. And that's all I have for you today. So again, I thank you very much for watching. Until next time, Chaos Made 006, signing off. Burn it up.